You are listening to WPHM Digital Broadcasting, the best in paranormal talk radio.
Reaching all the way back to 1948, Fate magazine has brought you reports of the strange and unknown, all of them true. Fate Radio is carrying on that tradition. Here is your host of Fate Radio, Kat Hobson.
Good evening. Welcome to Fate Mag Radio. I'm so glad you're listening. I am Kat Hobson, your host, and if you are listening at fatemag.com, thank you so much. We appreciate every single one of you, and if you have not subscribed to the magazine, why not? There's a new one coming out, and it looks like it's going to be slamming, so go ahead and click subscribe, and you will be able to get yours too. There's an electronic delivery as well as a hard copy, so just check that out. If you are listening on WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama, or if you are listening via Spreaker's app, we have chat rooms live and free at both of those locations, so please do join. You're welcome to have any kind of questions or just join in the discussion. I do monitor both chats. I am supposed to be joined tonight by Gary Williams, who is a psychic and an author. He has a new book hitting the ground tomorrow. He is in Spain. That's where he resides. It is 2 o'clock in the morning there, and he is not answering. So I left a message and told him just to call in when he got that, and we will add him to the show. I was his alarm clock, and I think that he is a little bit not quite ready. So, that being said, we are totally fine with that and welcome him when he is ready to show up. But I am so excited because I have one of my favorite people to investigate with. Since we're both Grammys and Bebop, we don't get to do it together as much as we once did. And the reasons are so perfect, neither one of us minds. But I am so excited and thrilled to welcome my friend, Lori Dorsey. Hi, Lori.
Pat, how are you?
I am so excited to have you on here. I never get to talk to you like this for lengths of time, and we've got all the time in the world. And I'm looking forward to getting a chance to share our experiences in the different locations we've been.
Yes, we've got a lot of experiences between us and together, and it's been a crazy times.
That's true. And never boring.
No,
you know, we met
never.
through Ghost Hunt Weekends. And
True.
You know, I have been investigating with them since 2016. And
I've been with them since 2010.
Mm-hmm. And I was actually, I can't believe we were both at Sloss in 2016. We've got our pictures, but our pictures are separate. We never had it taken together. No.
Well, our paths didn't cross at that time. I guess it wasn't meant to be yet.
Well, things happen when they're supposed to.
Yes,
I'm a firm believer in that.
Mm-hmm.
But when they did cross...
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we became instant friends, fast friends.
Yes. And it's...
and then after that, you and I just investigated as much as we could together for several years.
And traveled together.
Yes.
Or traveled to meet each other because you live in Ohio and I'm in Alabama.
Right. Correct. And in the wintertime, I'm in Georgia. So.
Mm-hmm. Because you are an intelligent woman. And you have a place to go.
Yes. I'm a snowbird, as they call me.
Yes,
So,
you are.
and I'm okay with that. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Well,
But,
I am in Gulf Shores
yeah.
this week, so it's really
Oh,
kind of a. We're doing a little vacay. Today's our anniversary, so I'm here with my
cool.
honey hubby.
Sweet.
And
Good deal. Are you going to get to do any ghost hunting while you're down there?
I am planning to, yes. He is
Oh,
totally
good.
the non-paranormal guy, but I'm
Right.
planning on heading over to Fort Morgan. I also have the dogs with me, and dogs are
Oh,
allowed on Fort Morgan's beaches. So I'm going to take the dogs to
okay.
Fort Morgan, and then if I get a chance, I've got a couple of people to connect with over in Pensacola.
Oh, that'll be nice.
I
Okay.
think so too. I got
Oh,
to
yeah.
investigate the
Wow.
Pensacola Lighthouse as one of a group of 4 people, and we had it overnight. It was
Oh,
fantastic.
was it active?
Yes, it was. It's the only time I've ever been
Wow.
scared while I did this.
Wow, that
hmm
must have been something.
Well, it was, and it was totally my fault. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah, totally my own fault.
Well,
So, who are you going to get ill with? Because it's not going to do any good.
right.
I moved too quickly, and I moved towards
Ow.
the children's quarters, and the children's room
Mm.
and the keeper's quarters, and I got
Mm-hmm.
a reaction.
Ooh.
So,
Wow.
and Swanee in chat says, "Really? Only time scared?" Wow. Well, that's because I learned, Swanee. I learned to behave appropriately
Mm-hmm.
in environments that I didn't have control of. And anyone who thinks that they are controlling a haunted environment is fooling themselves.
Yes.
Because you are in their arena.
Yes.
Wouldn't you agree?
Definitely. Oh, yes. Especially like when we went at when we investigated the Sorrel Weed House
Mm-hmm.
in Savannah. That was very, very odd. It was an odd investigation, especially
That
up in
wasn't
the slave quarters
Well, that
when
was.
the battery got drained. Yeah, that
And
was,
we
and
saw
the
that
sounds
shadow
we
figure
heard.
along the wall.
Yep, yeah, scared us both. Startled us.
Well, it
I
startled us
wouldn't call it
because,
scared.
well, it didn't move like most shadow figures. It was a
No,
shape, but it wasn't a human shape. And there
right.
was not a light source
And then
other
we
than
heard
what we
that.
had.
Yeah, and that sound that sounded like a rope
Mm-hmm.
swinging
Mm-hmm.
that was right above us. That was crazy.
Yes.
That was, and then the battery drains were insane up there in that one room.
It
It
was.
completely drained everything.
And there
And
was
then
that
when we came
child,
downstairs,
remember?
yeah, that had a hold of your hand because your hand was so cold, and we had the K2. It kept going off when we put it down next to you, so we knew we had something down
Yes.
there, and that was crazy, crazy time. And then down in the basement where the surgical room was, we saw the shadows peeking out around the support beams or what was in the basement
Mm-hmm.
down there. I remember we were standing there, and it was like, you kept saying, "Do you see that?" And I said, "Did you see that?" And you could just see him
We could have been on
peeking out on
TV.
each side of. Yeah, it was. That was strange. That was definitely strange. That was.
It was. Swanee asked when we were in the upstairs of the slave quarters. She asked
Uh-huh.
She asked what kind of shape. I say she. I'm not positive. I'm sorry if I'm wrong, but Swanee asked, may I ask what kind of shape? And it was just kind of I think it was just kind of like a classic ghost in a sheet shape. I mean, it had there was form.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, but it wasn't. It was so fast.
It was fast.
It was so quick. It was just like you saw it out the corner of your eye. It was so quick going down down there, and we were both startled because that's what we weren't. Yeah. And then we heard the sound like something dropped and it was swinging on the rope, that squeaking of the swinging of the rope, and then we saw the shadow move.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a bit odd. I can't say that I ever experienced that before. Yeah. And then upstairs, the REM pod kept going off up there, and I don't know. It was just very odd feeling in that place. Just a strange. It wasn't scary, but I couldn't. I'm not sure how to describe it. It was just odd. Just a very odd feeling.
Well, it was unexpected. Completely unexpected, because that was not anything that we had really even been told was possibly there.
No.
And, I had done the walking tour investigation when we had been there for Moon River that year.
Mm-hmm.
That year or the year before, I don't remember. But it was, I was getting my hair lifted. It felt, and Swanee says, does it feel electric or heavy? And I would say that at times it was both.
Yeah.
I think the upstairs in the quarters was more heavy.
Yeah.
Certainly when we heard
definitely
the rope.
More heavy.
And
yeah, that startled me. And then when the REM pod died,
happen. I'm going to say that normally does not happen.
No.
You're tough to startle.
Yeah, it was like, wow, just like Moon River when we were at Moon River Brewery. How many times have we investigated there?
Oh, at least 2 or 3.
There's always something in. Oh yeah, there's always something in that basement. Always.
I found always. Oh my gosh, yes, that was some of the best evidence I've ever seen.
Yeah,
and the most bizarre. I wasn't expecting a child there either.
No. Every time I've gone there, and I think I've been there, I've lost count how many times I've been there, but that basement, I usually get a male, adult male, and then a small person, like a child or something down there. Every time I'm down there. Every time. And now that I've had the SLS camera, I catch something, 2 figures down there every time. The last 2 times I've been there, I've always caught 2 figures, and I've had one of the psychics says one that was with us, I think her name was Shay. She said that it's an angry man, very angry man, very irritated, angry man that was standing there staring at us. And I said, well, I can't see him, but I can tell he's aggravated about something. Yeah. And but then the rest of the place, up on the upper floors, I always get activity. It was, it's amazing. I just can't get over especially with the trigger objects of the Boo Buddy and my K2 Raggedy Ann doll.
I love the Raggedy Ann doll.
It's the stuff that comes up and touches it. In fact, besides Moon River, there at the Paulding County Jail with Shelly, we had it, Vincent, we sat it out on the hallway up on the 3rd floor, and Vincent was watching stick figures going over to the doll, and the doll's hands lit up. So we knew, I think we had Audra, last night. Oh, it's something that Raggedy Ann doll has brought me more activity. Well, you've seen it, you've used it.
I have.
That it brings it, yeah.
Well, it brings out the
brings
funny
out the
in Chris
children.
Smith, too.
Yeah. But yeah, it's you and I have investigated the Moon River, and you and I both have gotten responses. It's amazing. That place is amazing. Just like Mansfield Reformatory.
Yes.
You and I have investigated there.
Well, they liked you a lot more than they
And
liked me, which is odd given your past profession.
yeah, yes, I know.
I don't know why that
I was
is.
really surprised.
I was
Yeah.
too.
Well, they don't like me at they don't like me at Paulding County.
Well, they love me there, so
Definitely.
I guess
The
that's
sheriff
why.
doesn't mind.
Well, the sheriff
Yeah.
likes you because you're
The
on the
sheriff
same
doesn't
team.
mind me. Yeah. But the inmates don't care for me.
Yeah.
They usually cheer when I leave the room, you know. So
That's true.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. They do. But Mansfield, I mean, I was just there 2 weeks ago.
Did you go
And,
for the Parapsychon?
yeah. Mm-hmm. I was
supposed to
there
go
and I
for
talked
that.
to
I wasn't
Chip and
ready.
Greta and all those guys. Yeah. Oh my gosh, it was. Shelly was there with her with Toby.
I was
Everybody
supposed to be
was
there
there,
with them
and
as the network rep.
yeah, and it was packed. Definitely lots and lots of people. And then I went ahead and did the investigation. They had tickets. I also did Chip Coffee's gallery reading.
Aren't those
And
awesome?
I took some friends of mine. Oh yeah, he read me. I was
Did
so
he?
surprised. Yeah, a friend of mine has the gift, and he came with me, and then two of my other friends on my, I guess, team or people that we call ourselves ghost hunting grannies. So they went with us.
that.
They wanted to go to the gallery. Yeah, they wanted to go to the gallery reading. So I took the three of them and my friend Garrett. He said he's going to read us. And I looked at him. I said, "How do you know that?" He says, "Because I do, you know." I said, "Okay." And he did. We were like the fourth people that he read, and he made us both, Garrett and I, both stand up. And he said, "You two have gone." He said, "Your souls go way back." He said, "You've been several lifetimes together." He says, "My guides are telling me that your souls have known each other for a long, long time," which I knew it had to be something because we became fast friends, and I had no idea why. And he could read me without hesitation. He can just look at me and tell me what's going on, and I don't have to say a word. So I know
I think that's
we were
difficult
connected
with
somehow.
you.
Yeah.
I really do
I
think
am.
that's difficult with you.
And he has, Garrett, he says, I said, we've had to have known each other in a past life, and Chip verified it. He said, "You guys have known each other." He says, "My spirit's guide says you guys go way back to almost monks. You two were monks in the same monastery." I said,
Well,
"Oh,
that's
really?"
interesting.
Yeah.
That's different.
And yeah, that was startling, but that's Chip.
Well, yes.
Gotta love him. I love him to death. Love him to death.
I do too. He is somebody that I respect a lot too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And Greta too.
Well,
I got a lot of respect for Greta and him.
Greta's a great friend.
Yeah, she's a good lady. But they were there with us at the ghost hunt, and I went up to, remember where you and I went up there to the chapel? And every time there's always something sitting in the front pew. Every time I went up there, they didn't take us in there when we were doing the initial sweep, I guess, to be with the different celebrities. You have your groups and you rotate around. So I just go right into the chapel. I don't pay any attention to what anybody else is doing. And I go up there and I turn around and the figure's sitting there, just like always. But when you and I were there, I was sitting in the pew and had a REM pod and the flashlight up the thing. And I've never been able to reproduce that.
Really?
What you and I did, yeah. I never had it reproduced. Why?
I have that on camera too.
Oh.
I have that evidence.
Did you? Oh my. I didn't realize you captured that.
Yes, I did.
That was amazing.
And I
for
was
me.
behind you, so it was interesting. You know what? We're going to come back to this because we have to take our first break. I can't believe it.
Oh,
But
okay.
everyone listening,
Okay.
we will be back right after this. And thank you for being here.
You are listening to WPHM Digital Broadcasting. The best in paranormal talk radio.
Reaching all the way back to 1948, Fate magazine has brought you reports of the strange and unknown, all of them true. Fate Radio is carrying on that tradition. Here is your host of Fate Radio, Kat Hobson.
Thank you so much for being with us. You are listening to Fate Mag Radio here on WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama. I am joined by my friend, co-investigator, and pretty tough lady when it comes down to fear factors with the ghost hunts and such, Lori Dorsey. And we have investigated together for 9 years? 7 years at least. And I'm so glad that we have, because we get some great evidence whether we're together or not. But we were talking about the Mansfield Reformatory and the activity that you're getting up in that chapel. That place is insane.
It is. That was one of the most active areas that I had ever been in, as far as the Mansfield Reformatory, besides solitary.
Yeah,
solitary
is off the charts.
Very rare. Yeah.
And the creep factor is strong there.
Oh.
The chapel's not creepy.
And that's where I met Frank Hanger. He was Frank was the one who was killed by inmates down there in solitary. That's where I met Frank. And he's followed me through the jail on several occasions. I've called out and asked if Frank was here, and he would turn on my flashlight to let me know that he was there, you know. And I would ask him, why are you following me? Are you protecting me? And he usually turned on the flashlight for yes. So that was kind of a comfort, I guess. Yeah.
I would take it as such.
Yeah, he was. I didn't feel threatened, you know, when he would, I guess, present himself to me or let me know that he was there. There was never, you know, any negative coming at me, you know, as far as energy coming at me. It was never negative if Frank said he was there, you know.
Right.
Now, I've gotten ghost box come through, and I'd ask if Frank was there, and it would come back, Frank's gone. So I think he just comes in and out. I don't think he's not hanging around there all the time, but I think he comes in and out. And, and we were down in the shower area this last time. And I did get some SLS activity. They were, like, up in the corner of the room, like hiding in the corner up in the ceiling, looking down at us, because there was a very large group of people, and I don't know if they just didn't want to mingle with the rest of us. I don't know, but I did get some SLS footage up there, standing up in the corner, looking at us, you know. But there's really isn't any place in that I don't get some kind of activity. Well, when you and I were down in the, the toilet room, back in that corner, and we got
Oh my
the
goodness, that was
K2 hits because I got the whiskey out on the cards and set it on the chair, and we were getting all kinds of K2 hits because they were happy that we had brought, you know, I brought Crown and I brought a deck of cards, and oh my goodness, there was
you always
several
bring
other things that
Crown.
were sitting there. I know. And a shot glass.
Handy if it's cold.
Especially
After the investigation.
yeah.
That-
After the investigation, yeah, we usually salute each other. And,
yes.
you know, we can take a shot when we want to. But yeah, I mean, gosh, where else have we gone? Sloth Furnace.
Sloss Furnaces. We've investigated there. We've have you done Old South Pittsburgh?
No,
You know it's
that's on my
reopened.
bucket list. Yes, I saw that. I was so excited. And it seems like the people that took over have really cleaned it up a lot. I see the
Yes.
pictures on Facebook.
I
It looks
actually
like
drove
they've
by
really
because,
invested in it.
well, every time that I go by there, it's Tuesday, and Tuesday is their day off.
Yeah.
Nobody works there on Tuesdays, so
Oh,
I've only had the chance to look at it from the outside, and just that,
okay.
just that is astounding. The
Yes,
change, the
they
windows are.
post it. They post a lot of the pictures and stuff of the cleanup, and it's amazing what they've done. And they show the before and after pictures of what they've done on the inside. It was like, wow, you know. And they tell, you know, everybody says, I need to go because that, you know, that place is active. And it's on my list of places to go. It's just, you know, it's just
Well,
getting
I'm
the
going
time
to
to do it.
Well, you're going to have to make the time because I am going to be, like, quote, talent, end quote, but in working with them. So you'll have to come down when I start that. And
Yeah,
we
definitely.
can do that one together because I am so excited about what's happening there. I've got great evidence over the years, and it's just,
Yeah.
I think somebody
Well, it
who
looks
probably
like,
has the
I've
best.
never heard, I've, from everything that I'm reading and things that's going on over there, it's really made a turnaround. Things have really improved immensely, and, you know, the safety factor is so much better, and they've cleaned out, you know, all the trash and all the garbage, but they still get good evidence, and they still, you know, it's very, very better, I guess, much better than it had been in the past. So that's, you know, I really, really want to get up there. There's several places I would like on bucket list, like Waverly Hills and, you know, Eastern State Penitentiary, and there's a lot of places. You know, I enjoy going to the jails because jails don't intimidate me. You know,
Yes.
you know, I look at it through different eyes than general public does, but it's very fascinating to me, you know, when I can get interaction from spirits in jails because, you know, I can say, you know, I have a reaction from them, like,
Yes, you
hey,
do.
commissary's ready, you know, commissary's ready. I did that up in Mansfield, upstairs. Steve Gonzalez, who I just dearly love. He's such a sweet guy. He was he's such a sweet person. And we were upstairs, and I was standing behind him, and he was talking about, you know, him being in law enforcement, and I told him, I said, well, I've been in law enforcement too, and, you know, I said, I've been through a lot, and when we were standing up there, and, you know, when we got done talking, everybody went out and did their own investigation, which was up in the attic area. You know, where the like the 3 rooms at the end of the attic area, that was like they had a hook up there, and it was really kind of a, I think, torture area at one time.
Mm-hmm.
And I was standing up there and talking to him, and I have my bag, and I've got a little ghost that hangs off of it.
Yes.
That you have to press, and the little eyes light up, but you have to press it.
Yes.
And we were standing there, and I was standing there talking, and the ghost went off. And I just kind of stood there and didn't say anything, and it stopped, and I turned around, and it went off again. It went off 3 times while I was standing up there, and it has only went off, and I've had it hanging off my bag for probably 7 years, and it's only went off once. Yeah, and it went off 3 times. So while I was standing up there talking to Steve, and Steve goes, "Let me see that," because he thought his phone would set it off. I said, "No, it's not that kind of electronic. It's a push button. You have to push it for the eyes to light up and for it to make the noise." And it went off 3 times up there. I was surprised. I was shocked. I didn't know what to say.
I wouldn't know what to say. That is so cool.
Yeah, it was amazing. And Steve was shocked too. He kept saying, "Give me that." And, he kept pressing it. He goes, "That's the only way it goes off." I said, "Yeah, you have to press." And it's a real tiny button. It isn't like it's the whole thing has to be pressed. It's a little tiny button on the back of the ghost. And it's the only way you can get it to go off.
Yeah.
And it happened 3 times when we were standing up there at Mansfield. It was like, wow, okay. I guess they like the little ghost. I don't know.
Well, it's cute. It's an oddity. They don't have a lot to play with. They don't have a lot to interact with
Right.
other than each other. I can see
Right.
that being something they would just be curious about, and when it worked, they just keep doing it because, like, hey, look, this is so cool.
Yeah.
They get
And
excited
they did.
too.
Yeah, 3 times, and they pressed it for a long period of time. I didn't move. I just stopped. Steve kept going, "What is that noise?" I said, "It's my ghost." I said, "It's my ghost." He laughed. He said, "Let me see that." And then, he goes, "I signed this." I said, "Yes, you signed this a long time ago."
Yep.
Here in Mansfield. And he was shocked too. I was shocked. But after we went over there, then we went back into the chapel area because they're right across the walkway from each other, the attic and then the chapel. And I'm not sure what happened, but it looked like a flock of birds came in, and there was bird poop and stuff everywhere. So.
Yes.
But anyway, I still went into the front of the chapel and got the SLS camera out, and there was that one figure sitting there, still sitting there in
That's
that front
astounding.
pew. And the some of the tour guides, I showed him the SLS camera. I said, "This is always sitting here every time I'm here." And one of the tour guides, volunteers, had an actual picture, and you could see a shadow of a person sitting there right where my SLS hit.
Truly.
You could see a person. Yeah. He goes, "Let me see that." He says, "This looks like the same place that I captured this photo of this person sitting there," and it was exactly the same spot.
That is
front
wicked
pew
cool.
Yeah, it was amazing. I couldn't believe it. I said, "Well, I can actually see a human form sitting there, not just a stick figure, because you know how the SLS is. You see a stick figure sitting there."
Yes.
So, yeah, that was crazy. I wasn't expecting somebody to actually have a picture. You could actually see a human face, and it was male, of course. It's sitting there. They were just sitting there. So,
Well, we have a
it
question
was,
in chat who
oh,
says, was it a stick figure or on the thermal part of the SLS?
it was an actual stick figure.
Okay.
It was actual. It was sitting there, and I've got several recordings from different times that I've been there. It's the same stick figure. It's the same shape, almost the same, really the same size of the same person. Every year I try to go there and film the exact same spot each time. And there's always somebody sitting there, just like in Moon River in the basement. There's always in the one corner of that basement. I kept something there.
That's because there is, that's a creep place.
Yeah.
And it's believed that is where the opening for the tunnels that run under the city came into that basement.
Down there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I try to be consistent to see if I get the same consistency of evidence every time I go. And between Mansfield up there in the chapel where we were, where we go, and in that basement of Moon River, I always have something down in each one of those places. It's amazing. It's really, really amazing.
You were talking about Moon River's basement. You were talking about the Raggedy Ann and the Bee Bear.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm not mistaken, this instance was with the Raggedy Ann. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
When it appeared to be a child actually sitting at the table in front of the toy. And the toy was activating.
It was a thermal. Mm-hmm. And you could see a small figure sitting in the chair, and the thermal didn't show the doll lighting up, but the doll was lighting up at the time. And the thermal imager, you could see it sitting there, and Chad walked over to the image, or what we could see, and his equipment was lighting up above what it looked like the head.
Yes.
Right above it. And there was like 3 images taken we took. And by the third image where Chad was standing, you could see it was like starting to just disappear. It was like fading away.
Yes.
But it was.
But when it was gone, it was just completely gone. And relevant to go ahead.
No. That's exactly what happened. I mean, you could see it, and then it just started to fade away, and it just went away.
Yes. And that was probably my first experience with something I couldn't explain on a thermal.
Yeah.
Because usually there's something that you can find as a realistic explanation, and it's not that shocking. This was fairly well shocking.
Yes.
To me.
Because it was the exact same temperature as the chair. And everybody kept saying, well, somebody was sitting in the chair. I said, if somebody had been sitting in the chair would have been warmer.
Yes,
but
it would.
This image was the exact same temperature as the chair. And I said, you could see where the chair stopped, but this had a curve up like a head above it. So I said,
it was obviously a body.
Yeah.
It wasn't
I said, no. And I said, my equipment was going off, even though you couldn't see it on the thermal imager. The doll was going off because I kept asking, please take the doll's hand and light it up. And it did.
I have video
Every
of that
time.
too.
It was that was so
that was
amazing. So that was so shocking.
While we're talking about SLS and thermal and such, there's a question that says, and I think this goes back to Mansfield rather than Moon River. But the question is, does what's in the chapel interact with you? Well, it says, let me read both of these. Does it interact with you on the thermal? I wonder if it might be residual energy. And then the next was, was it interacting with the SLS, not thermal? Was it interacting with you? Because I saw it actually interact with you.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And usually the way I can tell if it's an intelligent, if it knows what I'm saying, is I'll say, wave at me.
Yep.
Put your hand up and wave at me. And every time they'll throw their hand up in the air like, yeah, I know. They understand what I'm saying, And
what's at Moon River is intelligent. And what's at Mansfield is intelligent too. And it was funny when we were at Mansfield and we were in the area that you were talking about with the toilet where, we were getting interaction and I got just maybe a hair aggravated, maybe a hair. And, and I was like,
right.
Well, turn that light on. And you looked at me and you said, please. And I'm like, please. But it was so humorous because it was like they were going to teach me because they did with the please.
Please turn it on.
And you are so, I try to be respectful at all times. I have been known on occasion, perhaps, to be a little less patient than you. Perhaps.
Right.
But that's why we're such a great blend. Yes, we do. And I'm very thankful for that because we do work well in tandem.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's pretty cool. And
but they're just like Paulding County. They like you, but they do not like me.
That's
so
true.
Between the two of us, we get a response, either from you or from me. They they tell me to leave or get out, or and with you, they want to talk to you. With me, I just say, I'll leave. I don't have a problem. I try not to be disrespectful, but I just say, I'll go ahead and leave. So you talk to the rest of the group, and then you hear a cheer from the portal saying, yes, she's getting out. I said, and I said, yeah, I walked into the one office and I said, the bitch is back,
I know.
And everybody laughed.
I couldn't believe it.
And the, everybody chuckled about it and I laugh, I just, okay.
Yeah.
If that's how you think, that's no problem. I don't get mad about things like that. That it just knows that, I don't disrespect you, but you can't scare me because I'm in a jail, because I was in a jail worked in a jail for 30 years. So this stuff doesn't bother me. So I think that's what aggravates them.
I think so,
there's
too.
A lot of people, and there's a lot of people that get intimidated when you walk into a cell, a cell block. It's like, oh my God, it's like, I've been in cell blocks 100 times. This is no big deal,
Well, I had not. And, we've got to take a break because I've got another experience to share. So everybody, just bear with us. We will be back after this. Thanks for being here.
You are listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, Birmingham, Alabama.
Thank you for listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama. The time is 45 minutes after the hour. Welcome back to Fate Mag Radio. I am Kat Hobson, your host, here on WBHM Digital Broadcasting. We are out of Birmingham, Alabama. I have to tell you that I am having such a great time. If you have joined to listen to Gary Williams, I apologize. We have had difficulty getting him here. He is in Spain, where it is 2 in the morning. He asked that we give him a wake-up call, and here we are. We're waiting to hear back from him. If he does call in, we are certainly going to add him in. I am so blessed, though, that I have so many great friends that I have investigated with over the years who have different backgrounds and who enjoy ghost hunting, paranormal investigation, and analyzing what we experience, not just running with it and going, "Oh, this is such a ghost." But, and you know, everybody has those moments when they get very excited. Tonight, my guest is Lori Dorsey. Lori is a retired corrections officer. She lives in Ohio. She has been investigating the paranormal for quite some time. She is the wife of a retired sheriff, which does come into play later as we talk about the old Paulding jail. And she's my friend. We have investigated all over the country together, and I'm fortunate to have that kind of a person in my life, and I wouldn't trade her for anything. So, Lori, welcome back to Fate Mag Radio. Thank you for being here with me.
Oh, love being talking to you, dear. We don't get to talk too much anymore, so this is great. Discussing the stuff we used to.
It is great because there's really not anybody that I travel with that I enjoy investigating with as much as you. You know, Shelly has to run her own things there at the jail. And you know, I do have the Soul Sisters, who are some of my favorite people. I'm fortunate with that too, but you know, I've been kind of out of commission for a pretty good while. When we're getting back into it. I'm going up and down some stairs now, so not far off. And there's a question in chat that says, may they ask how you distinguish between true mapping on the SLS and a false positive?
Well, the way I have been, I guess, trying to see if I'm getting a false positive is I will cover the SLS camera part, the Connect part. I'll cover it over and like clear it, and then shoot it again. And if it comes back up, you know, the same figure, then I usually confident that it is a actual energy or a spirit or something standing there in front of me. If I cover it and it comes back up that there's nothing there, then I think, okay, this was a false positive. But, you know, sometimes, you know, it automatically comes back, you know.
Yes.
After you cover it, and then you leave it stand there, or like Moon River Brewery, I was shooting the SLS on the couch. There's a couch upstairs, clear at the top where the bats are, and looked like someone was laying on the couch or laying down in front of the couch.
Well, you know, and that wouldn't be a living person.
Yeah.
That's icky.
No, as nasty as it is up there. But somebody walked in front of my camera, and the figure moved out of the way. Actually moved when the person crossed in front of it. So I knew I had to have had something, because usually it'll blank out and then it won't come back. This figure actually moved out of the way of the person that went in front of the camera.
That's weird.
So, yeah, that's the first time that had ever happened. Because usually, you know, it'll, you know, you won't see anything. Once somebody crosses in front of it, the figure will disappear and not come back. The figure never disappeared. It just scooted back away from the person that was walking in front of me. That was craziness. I've never seen that happen.
Well,
it was
I haven't
definitely
either.
odd.
One
that
of the
was
hosts,
the first.
One of the hosts here on the network is bound and determined to find some way to debunk the SLS. And apparently has been working on it for some time and has not been able to do so. I'm curious, what do you think would debunk that? I mean, what methods would you use if you were trying to?
Well, for me, if I'm doing an investigation at the time, like I said, if I blanket out with my hand in front of the connect part, and then I, uncover it, and I'm shooting it the exact same way, exact same spot, and the figure does not come back, then that tells me that it might have been a false positive. But I've also had it blank out, but I blank it out to make sure, to clear it, and then shoot exactly the same spot I was at, and the figure comes back in the exact same area. And then I say, okay, if you're really there, wave at me. And if I see a hand go up, I'm thinking,
Boom.
okay,
There you go.
boom. Yep, this is it. But if it doesn't come back after I blanked it out, reset itself, then it might have been a false positive. If the figure doesn't come back. But if it does come back, and I've had it come back, that's when I say, okay, if you're an intelligent person, throw up your hand. And if it throws up its hand, then I know that I'm actually looking at something, on my camera. I'm looking at, some kind of energy.
Yes.
But
that
the
actually...
other thing that that I caught on camera, no. The other thing I caught on camera that has me totally baffled is I get round orbs. Now, I know round orbs in film, is either bugs or dust but this is an actual, it's pixelating on something round. Prime example, we were downstairs in the basement at Paulding. I had something laying on the floor. Don't know what it was. I don't know if it was a person or what it was. But there were three round orbs moving around all over the place, and people's equipment was going off. Then a fourth came in, another, and then I had a total of 5 of them.
Oh,
wow. Round orb type circles on my SLS. There was something laying on the floor, but there was also these round circles moving everywhere. And the equipment was going off. And I have yet to figure that one out. I don't know what that is, unless it's picking up. Yeah, that, and the odd part of it is, Paulding County is the only place that I caught those round circles.
You've never seen them anywhere else?
Nope.
With all the places?
Paulding, yes.
Wow.
But I've taken that to. Yeah.
That's huge, in my opinion.
I don't know what it is. I have yet to figure that out. Because, everybody, film, they always say, oh, it's dust or it's a bug or, da. This is not picking up bugs. This is not picking up dust. This is pixelating on some kind of energy in a circle. And it's a perfect circle.
That
And the
is
only place I've ever
fascinating.
caught it, is Paulding. In that basement. In
You
that
don't
basement.
get it on any of the other floors there.
Nope. That has me baffled because I don't know what that is. I catch it down in the dungeon, and I caught it down in that basement. I mean, it's just crazy.
Did you get
It's
your
just a
SLS
perfect.
camera from Dave Giuliano?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Because he does great equipment. So
Oh
that's
yeah.
the Ghost
Oh
Hunter
yeah.
store for those who don't know.
Right.
And you're welcome, Dave, for that free advertising.
Plug.
I will advertise
Free
for
plug.
him all day long. But seriously, that's interesting because I know that equipment and I know that equipment designer. So that's bizarre.
Yeah. That has me baffled because I have yet to see it at Moon River. I've never seen that at Moon River, and I've never seen it at any of the other places that I've taken the SLS. The only place I've ever seen those round orbs is at Paulding. It just blows my mind. I mean, I don't know what it is. And I've seen it up in the cell blocks up there. I just don't know what it is. I mean, even at Mansfield Reformatory, as much as I've filmed there, I have never seen a round orb. But at Paulding County, they're all over the place.
You should message him and tell him that's happening, because that would intrigue him.
Well, he might have an explanation of what it is too, if he's ran into it before.
But if he doesn't, then I know that he would find that intriguing.
Yeah. Well, I definitely do. It's like I said, I've never had that happen other than there.
Yeah. That's neat.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know if you know that he started the original paranormal website, Shadowlands.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
And he is one of those researchers that I just find pretty cool.
Yeah.
I enjoy him. I actually got to meet him at the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash last year. And it was neat because I hadn't had a chance to put a face, a voice to him.
Right.
I had him on my show a couple of times. The very first time he ever came on, he went 3 hours. I was like, whoa, this is awesome.
Wow.
I mean, just complete education for anyone listening. It was fantastic. But I would reach out to him if I were you, just to let him know that's happening. And we are going to have to take our top of the hour break. I cannot believe we've gone through an hour. I'm having the best time. And thank you, everyone, for listening. I know that y'all were expecting Gary Williams to be here. He is not. We are not really sure. Well, we are sure. It's 2 o'clock in the morning there. And he had asked me for a wake-up call, and I believe you didn't hear it. But perhaps he will arise and give us a call. And if he does, we're going to add him in. He's a fantastic guest. But I am joined tonight by my friend and co-investigator, Lori Dorsey. We'll be back right after this. This is our news break. Great time to fill up a wine glass, tea glass, coffee mug, or beer stein. Or just do some, cartwheels around the room, as my friend Brian used to say. But we'll be back. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you on the flip side.
Support for this podcast and the following message come from the Almond Board of California, researching new uses for almond hulls and shells, like strengthening recycled plastics, creating fuel, brewing beer, and more. More about the almond community's zero waste goal at almondsustainability.org.
Live from NPR News in Washington, I'm Barbara Klein. Results are coming in from Europe's 4-day vote for the European Parliament. 751 seats, as well as the future direction of the EU, are at stake. Projections indicate losses for mainstream centrists. In France, Marine Le Pen's far-right party is claiming victory. A major drug company will pay the state of Oklahoma $85 million to settle legal claims tied to the opioid epidemic. North Country Public Radio's Brian Mann reports Teva Pharmaceuticals agreed to the deal just days before a trial was set to begin.
Oklahoma is one of dozens of states suing drug makers for allegedly spurring the deadly opioid epidemic with their aggressive marketing of addictive medications. In March, Purdue Pharma settled with Oklahoma for $270 million. Now Teva Pharmaceuticals has agreed to pay $85 million, money that will go to help communities recovering from high rates of addiction. In a statement, Teva denied any role in the crisis, but the company still faces opioid-related lawsuits around the U.S. A major opioid trial will still begin on Tuesday in Norman, Oklahoma, focused now on a single company, Johnson & Johnson, the nation's largest drug maker, which has also denied any wrongdoing. Brian Mann, NPR News.
More dangerous weather is forecast today in the Central Plains, including heavy rain, hail, and possible tornadoes. Claire Donnelly of member station KGOU reports 2 people are dead after a likely tornado hit El Rena, Oklahoma last night.
A motel, trailer park, and several businesses were damaged. The destruction stretches for several miles. El Reno Mayor Matt White says more than 24 people were taken to the hospital and hundreds were displaced from their homes. The city has opened a shelter for affected people.
It's very decimated. It's a tragic scene out there. It's terrible. We're going to work through that process. It's going to take us time to do that, and we'll work through there.
6 years ago, several people died when an exceptionally wide tornado hit the area. For NPR News, I'm Claire Donnelly in Oklahoma City.
Iraq has sentenced 3 French citizens to death for being members of ISIS. NPR's Jane Araf reports from northern Iraq.
The 3 are among at least 12 French citizens handed over to Iraq by Kurdish Syrian forces after being captured in Syria, where the last piece of ISIS territory was liberated in March. It took 4 hours to sentence the 3 men, who were convicted of committing crimes in Iraq as well as Syria. In the trial witnessed by NPR, one of the men admitted to fighting with ISIS in the Syrian Kurdish city of Kobani. 2 others said they were ISIS members. Iraq's sweeping anti-terrorism law imposes the death penalty on a wide range of offenses. France has no death penalty, but like most countries, it has refused to bring back its citizens for trial. Jane Araf, NPR News, in the Kurdistan region of Iraq.
This is NPR. Football Hall of Famer Bart Starr has died in Birmingham, Alabama, after a long illness. As NPR's Shannon Van Sant reports, Starr was the first quarterback in history to win 5 NFL championships.
Starr played for the Green Bay Packers from 1956 to 1971 and was the hero of the most famous game in the team's history. His game-winning moves in that match, played on December 31st, 1967, are still remembered more than half a century later. That day, players were competing on a frozen field with a wind chill of -36. Starr may be the Packers' most popular player ever and will also be eulogized for being an exemplary role model. In a statement, Starr's family said his true legacy will be the respectful manner in which he treated every person he met, his humble demeanor, and his generous spirit. Starr was 85 years old. Shannon Van Sant, NPR News.
A hiker in Hawaii who was rescued after being missing for 17 days on the island of Maui is now recovering in a hospital. 35-year-old Amanda Eller was found in a forest ravine Friday and is being treated for severe sun exposure and a broken leg. Dr. Julia Baladovic says she can't believe what Eller did with that kind of leg fracture, but her survival skills helped save her.
She was able to manage to stay hydrated with the river water and eating fresh fruits from the trees.
Eller got lost after waking up from a nap disoriented. This is NPR.
Welcome back to Fate Mag Radio here on WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama. You are so welcome to join our chat rooms. We are on WBHM-DB.com. Click live chat and boom, you're there. We are also in your Spreaker app. If you're listening by your mobile device, just search WBHM-DB or search Fate Mag Radio. I am fortunate to be able to welcome my friend Lori Dorsey. I know you were expecting Gary Williams, but he has unfortunately not joined us at this time. Hopefully he will. But Lori is a co-investigator. We work together on different locations. We travel to meet each other at different locations. She comes from Ohio. I come from Alabama, and we have been very fortunate. We've had a couple of places in Savannah. We have done Paulding, the old Paulding jail in Paulding, Ohio. If you haven't been there, you've got to check that out. We have been to the Palace Theater in Gallatin, Tennessee. Oh, goodness. Eastern State. Am I missing something?
About that, we were at that diner. Do you remember we were sitting in that diner, and we kept, well, it was our table.
Yes.
Of course, you, me, and Heidi, we were sitting at the table, and all three of us heard movement in the back of that diner in the kitchen area. And we sent, I don't know, one of the Tennessee Wraith Chasers, one of their members or production or people, we sent him back there because I swore I could hear movement and things going around. And he went back there and there was nothing back there. And my good friend Garrett, who has the gift, told me the other day, he said, that was just for you, Kat, and Heidi. That you three were the only ones supposed to hear it. I said, well, nobody else heard it except us, because we kept saying there's something going on. Yeah. And Garrett said that was strictly for you three.
Did he say
and he said nobody else. No, they just wanted us to hear it. I said, well, that's real nice. He goes, well, he said that it was just strictly for you three. Yeah, very unexpected. But the thing that was really mind-blowing for me was when we were in the theater and we turned around and you could see movement in the back of that theater up in the projection room. You could see...
That projection room was bizarre.
Yes. Oh, my.
There was activity actually all over that room.
Yeah. And on the screen, when we'd ask it to, shoot that, ball of light across, and it would shoot that ball of light every time we asked it to. It was almost instantaneous. It would do it right after we asked it to. That was bizarre. I mean, it was just... And then clear up above where the screen was, that one room up there.
Yes.
Oh, that was... I felt like there was something standing in the corner watching us.
Something was standing in the corner watching us.
Yeah. I mean, I could... the spidey senses came up, and it was like on my right side. I thought, there is something standing beside me. There's, standing there. And, I mean, it didn't, come out and say anything or, didn't touch me or anything like that, but you could just feel them standing there, watching, just standing there watching. That was bizarre. Very bizarre.
Yes. Well, not quite as bizarre, I don't think, as the lights on that screen.
Oh, I know.
At the end of the night?
Yeah. I mean, it was right on command. I mean, we debunked some of it with the lights under the door, but when we made sure everybody was away from the door, wasn't walking around and out in the lobby area.
Yes.
But we still got movement of light on that screen.
Yes.
Yes. And
it was interesting light.
Yeah. Yeah. It was just, I'd never seen that.
Well, I still haven't.
And
And I am planning to go back to Gallatin because the guys are doing that mansion up there, Rhodes Hall.
Oh, yeah.
No, not Rhodes Hall. What is that? Rose Hall. Isn't that right? Rose Let the Flower? Or Rosemont?
Yeah.
I should really have written that down.
I
But
think it's
didn't know it would
Rosemont.
come up.
I think it's Rosemont. I think I remember seeing them saying around Gallatin they were going to do something at Rosemont Mansion up there.
I know I messaged one of them and said, tell me about the stairs at this location. Because I really want to come and see it. You know, the stairs.
Oh, yeah.
It's not the going up, it's the coming down. I'm not allowed to walk downhill or really go downstairs that I don't have a firm grasp of the rail on. So,
Correct.
Yeah, I'm close. I'm so close.
I know. It takes time.
I think that I want to go to Octagon Hall, too, because you've been there, right?
Yes.
I have not.
That is a very interesting place. The slave cemetery was very active. We had a psychic there. She was like 14, 13 years old. Yeah. And she was picking up on so much. It was so crazy. It was just crazy. That is the first place I had ever met John Tenney.
I still have not had a chance to meet him face to face. I think he's such an interesting man.
Oh, he is. I went to Gettysburg on a Strange Escapes investigation, and he was there. And I guess we were all at the same hotel. And he came down, and I was eating breakfast, and we probably sat there an hour and talked, just random things. I mean, he's very, very interesting to talk to. He has, I went to one, you know, he had like a lecture, or, you know, you meet and greet, and then you get to ask questions and talk and things. And it's more like when he's talking, you know, he makes you think outside of the norm. That's what I enjoy. It's more, you know, like he said, you know, why couldn't Bigfoot be a ghost? He says, you know, have we ever actually seen a skeleton, or have we ever actually, you know, why couldn't Bigfoot be a ghost? Because nobody's ever caught him. Or he says, why couldn't... Yeah, he says, why couldn't they be, you know, an alien? Popping in and out of the, you know, the different dimensions that we're in. You know, he makes you think, makes you look at a whole different, you know, how things, you know, what you think is normal. You know, he kind of makes you move outside your comfort zone. And he's just very, very interesting to talk to. When we were at Gettysburg, he told me, he says, go out back at the hotel. He said, this whole place is paranormal. And he says, right behind there, go straight back. He said, you'll see stones back there from the battlefield. Because he said, the battlefield's right behind where we're staying. I said, you're kidding. He said, no. He said, go back there. And a friend of mine, Sheena Wong, and her husband met me up there. And we went back there, and we were getting all kinds of K2 hits. We were getting Jenny Wade, because we were right next to Jenny Wade house. The hotel was. We were getting her name. We were getting her mom's name come across on EVPs. It was like, holy mackerel. John was right. This whole place is paranormal everywhere. I mean, the battlefield is all around you.
Oh, yes. When I went last year, I did not anticipate being within the area. Yeah, I just kind of came up on it suddenly.
Yeah.
I was so slammed.
Yeah.
Spiritually. And it took my breath. It really did. And I looked down to my left where there was a farm, you know, a period farm. It was one of the I guess, attractions within the park. But
Yeah.
there was a forest behind it. And in that forest,
Mm-hmm.
you could just see people.
Yeah.
And I don't always do that. It just blew me
Yeah.
away. I was taken
Yeah.
aback. From that point on, I was shielded. Because
Yeah.
it was just too much. It is just
Yeah.
too much. If you don't know
Oh,
how to shield, I think
It-
that would be an incredibly difficult place to visit.
oh, yes. In fact, my friend Garrett went there, and he had a soldier whisper in his ear, told him his name, rank, serial number, and regiment he was with, and he went back and checked historic records and found him.
Really?
Yes.
That is so
I told Garrett.
neat.
Yeah, Garrett says I verified because he said, when you hear something whispering in your ear, you don't know if you're losing your mind or what's going on.
That's true.
And so he wrote everything down, and he went back and checked and found it. The same, the name, rank, serial number, the regiment he was with, where he was originally from. Oh yeah, found it.
Now, see, I think
evidently
that
he
is
wanted
just
you to know.
perfect.
Yeah.
It may be somebody who wasn't claimed, who they couldn't recognize, so
Yeah.
he didn't have a way to let people know that he had died there. When I was there, I
and
felt
Garrett asked
nothing
him.
except resolution from these people. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't really get fear. I just got not really a hopelessness, but a resolution that, if I go back, I'm dead. If I go forward, I'm probably dead. Might as well go forward
Right.
because that's just probably.
Right.
It was just a determination to be as brave as they could.
Right.
There
And
wasn't a lot of fear.
Garrett said Garrett said it's very, very overwhelming when
Yes.
you go into this places, especially if you have any kind of ability. He said it's just overwhelming. But
Well, I was overwhelmed. It was astounding.
And I went to we had to investigate the orphanage. We had an investigation there, and John Zaffis was there down in the basement.
Oh, I love him.
And I do too.
Nice man.
He's such a very nice man. And we were sitting downstairs, and I had taken my Raggedy Ann doll. I took her down because I figured the orphanage it would be ideal. And I was sitting there next to John Zaffis, and we were sitting there chatting. And he had a ghost box of some nature. I can't remember which one he had, but we were sitting there chatting, and all of a sudden, John looked around and looked at the speakers, and his uncle came through. Warren, the Warrens,
Yes.
was his uncle had passed, and he came through, and John told him, he says, let the ghosts that live here come through. He was saying, you don't have to, conduct and be in charge of everything that goes on. Please let them speak. Don't speak for them. And he just kept coming through.
Oh,
He kept talking, and John kept saying, Ed, please stop. Let the spirits that are here, let them come through and talk to us. Well, he wouldn't. And so John says, oh, did you notice that, he asked me, he said, what's your name? And I told him. He goes, did you see that Lori brought a Raggedy Ann doll? And you could hear it distinctly saying, yes, I see that.
Oh, wow.
And And I said, well, I don't call her Annabelle, and I don't call her Raggedy Ann. A dear friend of mine wanted to name her Susie.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, that is why. I said, her name is Susie. And Ed kept saying, why that? I said, because a dear friend wanted to name her Susie, and that's what she goes by.
Well, we have to break.
Oh.
I can't believe our time. But we will be back right after this. Thank you so much for listening to Fate Mag Radio here on WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama. We look forward to our next segment.
You are listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting. The best in paranormal talk radio.
Oh, come on. I'm Southern, but... nope. That'll do. Hello. I am Kat Hobson, host of Paranormal Experience here on WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama. I enjoy having guests from all areas of the paranormal, from ghosts to ufology to cryptids and beyond. You'll find some of the best researchers in their fields bringing you some great information. Join me on Wednesday nights from 8 to 10 p. Eastern here on WBHM Digital Broadcasting.
Son of a...
Hey, son.
Mother...
Son? What are you doing?
Hey, Mom. I'm getting ready to listen to Periscope Uncensored.
By expanding your vocabulary.
Well, it is uncensored.
Son, the uncensored part of Periscope Uncensored is Jax and I getting down to brass tacks with all aspects of the paranormal. There's no fluff on our show.
So, no off-color commentary?
I didn't say that.
Awesome! What?
Son?
I just hit my head.
Oh boy. I'll go get you an ice pack. Catch Periscope Uncensored Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern, only on WBHM Digital Broadcasting.
Since 1948, Fate Magazine has brought you reports of the strange and unknown, all of them true. Fate Radio is carrying on that tradition, bringing you the unusual, macabre, strange, and bizarre. Join host Kat Hobson Sunday nights from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern on WBHM Digital Broadcasting.
You are listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, Birmingham, Alabama.
Thank you for listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama. The time is 23 minutes after the hour. Welcome back to WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama. You are listening to Fate Mag Radio, and I am Kat Hobson, your host. I am so excited because I have an unexpected and surprise guest for you, but first I want to finish letting Lori explain to us her experience when Ed was talking about her doll in the basement of the orphanage in Gettysburg. So what did Johnny say when Ed said, "I know"?
Well, Ed was, John said to Ed, "Do you see what kind of doll she has?" And Ed said, "Yes, I see." And, then I explained to him, I said, well, it's actually a K2 meter. I said, it's not just a plain old doll. I said, it does let me know if something's, in the room trying to touch it. It lights up. The hands will light and let me know that they're there. I said, it's actually a piece of equipment. It isn't actual just like an Annabelle doll. I mean, it actually helps me investigate places. And I said, it'll never be an Annabelle. Her name is Susie, and that's just how it is. And I could tell by the sound that came across the ghost box, he was aggravated with the whole thing, but I think he understood that it was a piece of equipment. It wasn't actual, like a Annabelle doll that, was possessed.
Right.
I said it actually is a piece of equipment. So Ed said, I said, well, it was nice meeting you, Ed. I wish I could have met you when you were alive, but, it was nice meeting you, I guess, in the afterlife.
Yes.
And, then John went, he just kept telling Ed, please let the spirits that actually reside here come through. So he says, and John said, I run into this all the time.
Really?
He comes
That's
in
interesting.
and interferes. Yeah, comes in and interferes with them all the time. So, yeah. So that was a fun little tidbit of paranormal investigating.
Is a fun tidbit because I have investigated with John Zaffis at Old South Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, it was hotter than 200 Hades. And we were all sweating bullets, and I have a picture, and I swear to goodness I will never post that picture. Because we all looked like we had been run through a ringer. And I'm not going to do it to me, and I'm not going to do it to him either. But, I am really pleased because not only do I have my co-investigator, my partner in crime, my partner in all kinds of nifty things, I have my other co-investigator joining us now. And you heard Lori talk about being at the old Paulding jail last night and the investigation that she did. Well, we have the owner of the old Paulding jail, the host of Ghost Talk with 187 PI on this network, one of the best investigators I've worked with. These are fantastic women. Of course, my soul sisters all know that they rank right in there too. And Shelly Burke Robertson. Hey.
Hi, everybody.
Thank you for being here because you know what? You got pulled into the fray all by yourself too.
Hey, that's all good. And it's good to be on the air with Lori. She was just here last night, and I just love when she's at the jail here.
I do too. Well, because there's so much, there's never a shortage of activity at the Paulding jail, the old Paulding jail.
Oh, no.
It never fails.
Not usually.
No.
And, I know that you had been concerned about storms. How did that work out?
Well, luckily for us, the storm came in early and left because, unlike so many places, when we have a thunderstorm here, it's almost like the spirits can't come through. They can't even, we'll run the portal and we'll run everything, and they sound so distant, like they're far away, and they can't. It gets really, like, lack a better word, dead.
As it were.
But luckily it came in and rolled out, and so we did get some pretty good stuff last night. And there's been nights where we got more, and I think weather played a little bit into it, but still it was a pretty good night still.
Oh yeah, especially in that basement.
That's where it was really hopping for us. And Lori even got a figure down there on her SLS camera when all that stuff was happening.
Yeah. It was definitely in the dungeon part I was running, and there was something standing next to Toby over off to the side. It was like where the opening was to that one cell area. There was something there. There was something there, and Toby's equipment was going off. and some of the other people that were sitting in the hallway in that dungeon part, their equipment was going off. But I was also getting those round orbs again. This is the only place that I get that. Is it Paulding? I mean, I've never gotten those round orbs anywhere else except there. It's round energy.
Yeah, that's what she said. It was like balls of light, like energy, not like your little dust orbs or anything, but...
No, it doesn't pixelate on that. That
right.
dirt doesn't affect the SLS. It only picks up on like an energy. And in that basement, it was insane. It was, and when Garrett was talking about the little girl and her mom, and I was getting like 4 or 5 round circle orbs moving all over the whole time that you guys were talking. It was amazing, because I had never seen that. And in any other places that I've taken the SLS to, I never had that happen. Only there.
And Garrett was honing in pretty good on some specific stuff last night, not just about that case, but even about some people in the group, which he was just
the toenail.
Hitting nails on the head with stuff coming through to him last night.
Yeah. He's scary sometimes.
He is scary sometimes.
I enjoy him being here. I do, because he can, I get the claircognizant with people, and I can't necessarily do that with the dead, where Garrett does it with the dead. And so that's fascinating to me. I just love it when he comes here with you.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, he's scary sometimes, because some of the stuff he comes through, I mean, it just startles me. It's
and to be right on the button with stuff too.
Yeah. It's fascinating, I mean, he's taught me some, he keeps telling me, he says, you have the ability, you just got to hone into it.
Right.
And he I don't know, he kind of shows me the way to be able to tell. And then he verifies what I'm picking up. He'll say,
I'm like, right, boy, I'd like to have him around here a little more often.
Well, we're always looking for that backup, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And he wants to come back up. He told me, he says, if I come back up, he says, let me know. He says, I'll go back with you. And some of my other ghost hunting grannies, I guess, is my group.
Oh my gosh, I just love you guys. I do.
I said, we'll try to come back up, and see if we can pick up some more information, because I would love to find what Audra's last name is. And Garrett tried really hard.
Oh my gosh, that would open up her mystery so much if I could get a last name.
Yeah.
We are searching archives and cemeteries and everything with just a little bit of knowledge of her we have now, and so far we still have not located this little girl. And we're keeping at it, because we figure she's got to be local.
Garrett said we talked about it on the way home, and Garrett and Vicky Garrett says, he said, I'm picking up that it's a transient. She was not a local person. She was someone passing through. He says, that's what I keep picking up. It's a transient. And he said, he said, I can't, she's not opening up to me. I said, well, she doesn't know who you are.
So she must be a transient.
Go up there enough,
It decided to stay then.
Well, yeah. I mean, if she passed away in Paulding County,
Yeah.
That
something that
somewhere in Paulding.
something that might apply to that would be if she were presenting as a child because she had died as a transient, and that's how she envisions herself as a lost child.
Yeah,
I
don't know for sure, but she sure does like the little kid toys, I tell you that.
But if she's feeling insecure about herself, just a thought. I mean, just trying to.
Yeah,
because,
we don't know for sure.
If you're feeling vulnerable, that's a safe place to go to. It's back to childhood, and that may be why she presents that way, and why she likes the simple toys for children.
And the sheriff seems to be protective over her too.
Yes, he is. So, and that could also make her feel safe and stay too, because we've seen firsthand he is protective over her and looking over her. We've caught the EVPs of the sheriff wanting a person in the group to leave when they went in there. And he even stood in front of Audrey, like shielding her from them. It was just an amazing thing to see. And it's like he didn't want that guy in there around her at all.
Right. Well, just like last night when we were upstairs and Vincent had the SLS in that hallway there, and we put the doll out there in that hallway in that bookshelf area.
Yeah.
And he kept saying he kept seeing something going over to the doll, and the doll's hands would light. So I think she was going between there and in the room, because the Boo Buddy kept saying, oh, I love holding hands with you. Well, that tells me that she's taken the bear's hand, or it giggled, tickle, it tickled me. So I'm pretty sure she was going from the Boo Buddy to the doll, but I have a drum that my grandsons had. That all you have to do is touch it, but she didn't go to that. She didn't go to that one. She never set that one off, but she still liked the Boo Buddy and the Susie, my Raggedy Ann doll.
Oh, yeah, she does. And I think, I don't know, maybe the drum, she tells us she's 10. Maybe the drum was, she likes the dolls better. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be, I just brought it along just to see if it would,
entice.
The kids,
yeah,
entice them and see if they would come out, and see if, because it would, can you jump 3 times, and if you tap it, it'll count it 1, 2, 3, and it'll go up to 10.
Yeah.
And then it plays music, but we never got it to interact with that part of the toys, I guess. She was more interested in the bear and the doll than she was anything else.
Oh, she loves that bear, and I tried to get one for her up there, and they're not making those anymore. They're going to come out with a new model. So,
I thought I saw those on clearance like a couple of weeks ago when I visited Ghost Stop. And you're welcome, Ghost Stop.
The ones that talk, they're totally sold out everywhere. And I called them up at Ghost Stop, and I said, "Hey, I need one. I want one. Can I get one?" And they're like, they're coming up with a part that's getting hard to get. So they've redesigned, and they said the new model that they're going to unveil, and he couldn't give me an exact date, is going to have even more options on it. So that might be kind of exciting.
Yeah.
That is exciting.
So I'm like, all right, I'm waiting. I got somebody up here that likes that. So I want one.
Well, hopefully the next time I come up and you've got the room remodeled, we'll just set those up there and just leave them up there for the whole evening and see if she'll interact with it.
Yes, and there's going to be white quite a lot of things in that room that she's going to be able to interact with. So it's going to be pretty interesting once we've got her area all put together. I'm so excited about it, actually.
You know, if she is a transient, then having her own space is going to be absolutely heaven for her.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And I still think that's who we captured in that kitchen during that birthday party when we had the music on down there.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it was her that was dancing because it looked like somebody was dancing.
Yes. And it looked small.
Because Lori said you can go downstairs and get some cupcakes. And there was cupcakes in the kitchen.
Yeah. And we had the music going. And then I went back down later to see if, if anything was down there or if it was pixelating on something that I wasn't seeing to see if it came back, and it didn't. There was nothing there. But I know it had to have been her because it was a small figure. It was dancing on the counter, and it was moving all around the kitchen. It just wasn't in one spot. It was on the counter, up and down the counter, and around, and the music was playing. So I swear that had to have been her. It had to have been. Or someone.
Yes, I think so too. I would agree.
And, last night, speaking of which, we were talking to Frank about his birthday, and he wanted to know what kind of music we were going to play.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
and we found out what kind of cake he liked.
Yeah, he likes white cake with white frosting.
Yeah. That is just so random and
he
cool.
Likes white. Yeah, Garrett said he likes white cake with white frosting. Because I said,
okay.
Like chocolate or white? And Garrett said he wants white with white frosting. So I said, oh, okay. That's interesting. Random, but okay.
Well, you like what you like.
Yep, that's true. So, for the birthday party, that's what
I'm going to have to interrupt because we have a break. I'm so sorry. I hate these. I mean, we have to do them. I'm glad that we do them. But there's always at the juicy parts. So bear with us. We will be right back with Shelly Burke Robertson, Lori Dorsey, and myself. And this is too much fun.
You are listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, Birmingham, Alabama.
Thank you for listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama. The time is 45 minutes after the hour. Welcome back to Fate Mag Radio as we get into our final segment. I am joined by Lori Dorsey, who is my ghost hunting buddy. We travel, we show up at the same places, and have some cool experiences for the past several years. It's over a decade. 2006? Yeah, whoa. Well, nobody's aging here. And Shelly Burke Robertson, who is the owner of the Old Paulding Jail. She is the host of Ghost Talk Radio with 187 PI here on this network. And she is fabulous. And before we go much farther, I want to let y'all know, if you are listening on www.fatemag.com, thank you so much. We appreciate you. We are proud to be on that network, on that website, and part of Fate Mag. This is the online voice of Fate Magazine. And if you are not a subscriber, you are missing out. You need to go and check out this new edition that's coming out. I had no idea. You know, we've been in publication since 1948. It's wonderful. So check it out, and you can do electronic delivery, or you can have a hard copy, whatever suits your fancy. And there's so much information. It's a beautiful thing. And that being said, Shelly, before we get started talking, Katie Brummett said to tell you hello. She's
oh my gosh, tell her I said hi.
Well, she
needs to come back and see me. She's so much fun. I really like her.
She is so much fun. And, you know, I'm just so impressed with how great she did at the jail. She was there for Gary's birthday party.
She was.
She really enjoyed it. And didn't get flipped out at all.
Her first time, wasn't it?
It was. Ever. Anywhere.
Yeah.
So she was pretty
Lori
ferocious.
Was there too. Lori was there too.
Oh yeah, I was there.
It was too cool.
Got a lot of activity. Mm-hmm.
And that was a really interesting night because, you know, this Gary who he was found hanged in the cell block in 1998. And, you know, every year near the week of his death, and he died on his birthday as well. So,
which is so tragic. It just adds to the tragedy.
It does. Yeah. And every year stuff in this building goes crazy the week of his death. And that's actually how I came to find out about him. And so, you know, his presence is more prominent during that week. And, you know, we pinpointed his death time and everything through the previous year's investigations up here. So I'm like, you know what? I think there was foul play. And I can't really say what because I wasn't there. And the spirits have told us things along the way. So I'm like, well, let's, you know, it has to be a depressing if he did do it himself, a time and a tragic, and there's just so much surrounding this particular case. And I'm like, why don't we celebrate his life?
Absolutely.
And so we threw him a birthday party, and Kat come up, and she was here and helped put it all together. And, you know, Lori was running her SLS and got him in the area where he was hanged.
That was so freaky, y'all.
That
was
to see that actually, odd. That was almost made you feel, right. Yeah, it was. I can't even explain the feeling to see that. It was, oh my gosh. But, you know, we sang him happy birthday and everything, and he requested a prayer. But, you know, at the end, when his stuff usually ends for that night, the thing was, it felt like he even said he was happy, and it felt so calm. And, you know, I think we did a really good thing that night for him.
I think we did too. I agree with that.
Oh, yeah.
And it was odd.
The feeling was good.
Yes.
It was
It was like a
fantastic.
cleansing for him.
It was,
Yeah.
it was. And like he was just happy and at ease, and all the tension just dissipated and everything in that area. You know, it was,
Right.
you would have had to have been there to just
Yeah.
experience what a birthday party for a spirit was like. It was, I know it's probably sounded crazy to people that I was going to do that, but
Well, I think it's a beautiful thing because, you know, we talked about celebrating his birth rather than his death because it's a little creepy to have a death day party.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you don't, especially if it was self-inflicted, you don't want to be reminded of that.
Right.
Yeah, birth
Well,
is
and
so much
and
more
you-
hopeful.
And you know the state of or frame of mind, if he did do that, what he had to have been in at that time. So why not alleviate some of that, you know? And then he requested the prayer, and Lori looked it up, and it just was so, I can't say anything more, but calm and peaceful and at ease, and like he was happy for a moment. Don't you think that, ladies?
Yeah. I think it was, he had a moment of joy
Yes,
that
he
I
did.
don't think he had for a long time. Because we celebrated his life, not his death. And I think that, you know, brought him some peace and some joy that he hasn't had in, you know, years.
That's
Well, can you
I
imagine
truly
being-
believe that.
Yes. And, you know, he's stuck for whatever reason. He stays where he died.
Yep.
I don't personally believe that things get trapped. I think there's a motivation behind their choices. But I think that he was able, the reason for the peace and the calmness that we felt was that he mattered.
Yeah.
Because
His
if he was
life
in
mattered.
jail, and if it was truly for child support issues, which is what I think we
It
determined
was
that
written
was,
up. Yep, that was his
then,
case.
Then he had to have been told what a terrible parent he was, what a terrible human he was, what a terrible man he was. He was there in jail, which confirmed all of those things. And one way or another, he wound up hung.
Right.
And so there were people there who cared enough to be there for his birthday. Shelly, you cared enough to put that together. And it was probably the most positive experience he had had, even for some time before his death.
I would probably tend to agree with that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely.
And we're going to do it again this year and see what we get. I'll know as it gets closer to his anniversary of his everything, if things go crazy or if that was enough to let him go, you know?
Yeah, I was going to say. It may have gave him enough peace for him to move on.
Yeah, and that we don't know that yet. So we're going to go ahead and do it again and see, and then that's going to confirm for us, you know.
Right.
What's
well,
happened.
Garrett didn't pick it up. Garrett didn't pick any of him up when he was there.
Well, you know, Katie in
said,
chat said it was calming.
It was so calming. It was.
It was joy.
It was, and we don't
And
judge
a
up
thumbprint
here.
on the cake.
Yeah, there was a print on the cake, and you know, and we don't judge up here. So, and that's like I tell people when we come they come in investigations. I mean, even if we think they might have been a prisoner, like we weren't there, in their living world, we don't know what happened. You know, So I just try to make this respectful and a safe place for all of them who are here. And they're no different from the rest of us. So, you know, if we know they've done a crime, sometimes we might ask them about it or talk about it a little bit, but it doesn't affect us one way or another. They're all still family to me up here. You know what I mean?
Well, sure they are.
Right.
And they consider you family. I mean, I know that sounds crazy, and for people who have not experienced
it, yeah.
Yes, and if you're not an investigator or a researcher into the paranormal, it's very difficult to comprehend that there is residual energy that can interact. That, to me, is what ghosts
and Lori's
are.
been up here and experienced the same one several times, and so has Kat, and they kind of know what I'm talking about. And Kat's been here when I have my little talks with them, and before events, and you know,
or after they show out.
Yeah. So, you know, I treat them like they're anybody else. They're people like us without their physical body. That's what I'm coming to find.
Right.
Yes.
And
they have a sense of humor.
Oh, they do.
You know,
they do.
Yeah. They have a sense of humor. They, you know, if they don't like you, they let you know. If they like you, they let you know. I mean, they're just like anybody else, you know.
Well, and that's the advantage when you go to a single location.
Right.
Many times, or like us, we own the place, so we're here all the time. You get to develop that relationship or bond, so to speak, with the resident spirits, you know? And it sounds like I'm a raving lunatic. It really
No, it
does.
doesn't. But, you know, I agree with you. And the interesting thing for me, you know, people get all flipped up because anything that acts ugly is demonic. Well, no, not necessarily.
That's
because
true,
you know what? Your personality transcends your reality. It goes with you. If you are a wonderful, caring, loving person in life, I believe you are in your afterlife. If you are a schmuck when you're alive, you're a schmuck when you're dead.
You know,
that's
and
been
that's
my experience.
That's also a reason why I've just got so many certifications and taken so many classes. I've done the parapsychology now and the criminology and profiling and all those things, because no matter what the personality, I kind of have an idea on how to deal with it. And then they're pleasant then. You see, I don't really get a whole lot of negative from any of them up here. It's
until I
just...
show up.
Well, then they're not really bad though. They do voice opinions.
No. They do voice opinions.
Yeah, but they don't really do anything horrible. Now, a lot of people were getting touched last night. Brian Lipinski, who's been here a few times, and
Brian,
Jeff Adams, and a lot of them that's been here before, and Jim Palmer too. Jim Palmer, something was hanging around him for a minute, and he kept getting touched. So, so one of them was kind of liking Jim, and he's been here like 4 times, I think.
Do you know what, ladies?
Garrett was getting touched. Was getting touched too. He didn't say anything to anybody.
We are out of time.
Oh, wow.
How does that happen?
Time flies when we're having fun, and it's such an interesting conversation.
I know. And, you know, I just love it when, and this is not being sexist because I like investigating with everybody, but I like being able to have the opportunity to share with other women investigators experiences and histories, and especially when we have so much in common in the experiences that we've shared independently and together. So
Yep.
I just think that's cool. And I am so appreciative of both of y'all being here. I just can't tell you. And
Well,
I know that it
love you
was
and
spur
Lori
of the
to pieces.
moment.
I do.
I just love getting together like this. We should have a women's roundtable. Would y'all be interested?
We should.
Yeah,
'Cause
that'd be
there's two
great.
other women in our chat
That'd be
room
fun.
that we need to do that with too. We'll include them, and I can think of a couple of more. So we will work on building that. And in the meantime, thank you so much for joining us. We are
Well,
excited.
thanks for having me.
Yes, I'm so thrilled that you were here. Thank you, especially when you got drug in. And
But
I think this
Lori always has some interesting stuff to talk about,
always.
Oh, yeah.
Always. And someone else that I would like to participate in our roundtable just hit chat also. So she doesn't know she's going to do that. But now she does. So we will have to bid adieu for tonight. I think this worked out exactly the way it was supposed to. I love when Karma steps in. I think that we're all going to have a great week. I just wanted to let y'all know that coming up this week, Paranormal Pride, vacay. They are celebrating 35 years of marriage, and I'm not interrupting that. So we will be playing a rebroadcast of the Paranormal Pride with Denise Pridemore. Wednesday night, I'm on vacay, and I'm celebrating my anniversary too. So Wednesday should be a rebroadcast of Paranormal Experienced. May do a live show, depends on the day. Thursday night will be Periscope Uncensored with Clarissa and Joe. Friday is a big day. Friday is going to be a live show with Paraversal Universe kicking off at 4 o'clock. 5 o'clock Eastern. They will be followed by a rebroadcast of last week's brilliant Ghost Talk Radio, which was international serial killers and the hauntings that surround them. And then Seraphine Hurley will be live with Tripping the Void. She is on the road currently, but we fully anticipate her arriving at her destination prior to that. And that'll be fun too. So, until we meet again, thank you so much for being a supporter of this network. Thank you so much for your decades of support for Fate Magazine. It's brilliant, as y'all know. Phyllis is a fantastic editor. And go get your subscription. We will be back, and until then, be the change you want to see. It's the only way to make the world better. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon. Y'all have a great night. Bye.
You are listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, Birmingham, Alabama.